Hey, Mayor, how you doing? Hey, I wanted to talk to you about this ordinance that was passed in July 19th, I think it was. I'm sure you're aware. I came into City Hall yesterday. I'm a independent journalist and I'm a big constitutional rights activist, but came into City Hall to record in the publicly accessible areas. I was in the lobby. As soon as I came in the door, your found it was the assistant city clerk immediately confronted me and told me that I could not be in there. I could not record in there, and presented me with the ordinance, which I looked at and told her, actually, before I even got through reading, I said, this doesn't look like it's constitutional, because the First Amendment, protects the right to record in publicly accessible areas. The Supreme Court has ruled in numerous cases about the broad protections right there. I believe in full transparency and accountability when it comes to government. And at that point, she told me I had a mask on, or I had a face mask on that up to my nose, and she said, "Well, a mask is unconstitutional. Wearing a mask is unconstitutional," and that kind of blew my mind right there, because just months ago it seems like that was it was absolutely required, and here there's a city employee that's telling me that a mask is unconstitutional, and that's far from the case. And I think you probably know that as well, that that right there was far-fetched. I basically challenged the ordinance, and just I figured that she had gone into her office and notified law enforcement. So I waited there for them to show up and had a nice talk with the two officers that came over for almost 15 minutes and left peacefully. But it's something that I wanted to raise and see about this being retabled and discussed. I also believe there needs to be some education into even on that ordinance. I know it says that it prohibits recording in city buildings, but the last sentence of the middle paragraph says except for the lobby of City Hall. So even with that current ordinance, I was still not doing anything unlawful. I was not being disorderly, and I think there was obviously a misunderstanding right there with your assistant city clerk. I didn't get her name. She would not identify.
What was the purpose, Matt? What was your purpose of coming here, video?
Well, I was gathering content for a story. I actually travel around to different city buildings, different cities, and I go in. Basically, my whole entire purpose for being there was to ensure that my rights were respected. That I was treated with respect, and my rights were respected and not violated. And to basically, it's I do this to promote the people that do their job, and don't violate, don't attempt to violate my rights whenever I do that.
Okay. Well, we think you were wrong. We think I believe in the Constitution. We have an ordinance that prohibits the video unless you have prior authority approval. We don't know who you are. Don't know what your purpose is. You're coming in unannounced, so that's the reason why we adopted that ordinance there. And
but yeah,
right to come in and make that. Hold on.
Yeah.
If you think that's not right and would like to address the board with it, you could fill out a form and come in and state your reasons behind that, and maybe the board will listen to you. But at present, we're going to follow that ordinance and follow it to the detail, the letter of the law there, and that you're not allowed, unless you get prior permission, and that you'll only be in certain public areas, not in any offices or anywhere else that's not a public area. So we're going to abide by that.
That's
glad you have to come in and talk to us, talk to me, anything. I welcome that. But at present, you're not going to be able to video unless you have that prior written approval. And if you, once again, if you want to challenge it, we'd be glad for you to come in and talk to us about it.
That's having to ask for approval. That's having to ask for approval to exercise, to engage in a constitutionally protected activity. That's leaving it at the discretion of you know. And here's another thing I wanted to address. Y'all have got, you know, I certainly didn't give y'all permission to record me whenever I walked into City Hall, but y'all have cameras all throughout there. So I'm sure you're going to say the reason you have cameras is for the safety of City Hall and employees. But just like that's for y'all's safety, the reason why I record is for my safety. I've had different areas that, yeah.
I'm not going to solve the issue with you. We have posted on the outside video, the premises will be video. So we're constitutionally correct to do that. So
what about inside City Hall? What about inside the lobby of City Hall?
That's what it says. It's premises.
But it says.
Allow you, Matt. Listen to me, Matt. Listen
yeah.
to me, sir.
Yeah.
Glad to talk with you. Glad to return your call. I'm not going to change the ordinance. You're not going to change the ordinance. I said I'd be willing for you to come speak to the board logically and systematically if you think it's wrong, and present your position. But I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to allow you to come in against the ordinance. The ordinance allows me. Your ordinance allows me to come into your lobby, though. It allows me to come in there and record in the lobby of City Hall. It says that. Not really.
Yes, sir. It says it actually on the.
I'm not going to convince you. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're not going to allow you to video in the lobby unless you come in and fill out proper paperwork. Now, again, if you want to challenge that, I'm perfectly willing for you to challenge that.
Okay.
Right now, I'm giving you our position and what we'll do if you come back in.
Yes, sir. Well, all I'm doing is asking you about this paragraph because clearly it says right here, it says no one will be allowed to video in areas of city building in which city personnel are involved in the performance of their duties except in the lobby of City Hall and similar lobbies in other buildings. So that specifically says except.
That means with permission. that you can be given permission to do in lobbies, but not anywhere else.
Okay.
After you get permission. That's what that means.
Well,
you may interpret it differently than what we interpret.
With all due respect, Mayor, you know, as I said yesterday, I wanted to talk to you first, but that's, you know, I wholeheartedly believe that is incorrect. And as a constitutional rights activist, you know, the only way that I can actually invoke change on something that is clearly out of place and wrong in my eyes like that is to take it up with the courts. Now, in order for me to take it up with the courts, I have to have something called standing. So, you know, I have no problem coming back. In fact, I need to do a public records request anyways for the names and salaries of the staff in City Hall, of the city employees. And, you know, if y'all want to you know, call the police and I can show that paragraph where it says I can be in the lobby, if they threaten me with arrest, I will leave. You know, I'm not going to just stay there and against orders where I'm threatened with arrest. If I'm threatened with arrest by law enforcement, I will leave, because that will then convey standing to me, and then I can take this matter up in court where it belongs.
Okay. Well, look, you can do that. That's your right to do so.
Yes, sir.
We interpret one way, you interpret the other. But always be cordial. I'd be glad to have you come in and talk to me at any time. I'm open, but not going to allow the video. That's just what it says. It's regulating the video inside city business.
I'm going to video, Mayor. I'm sorry. I have to. I mean, that's. I will not go in without videoing.
Welcome to the challenge, sir. We'll be glad to have you here. We will not allow you. We'll ask you to leave the premises, and that's what we'll do. And if you think you need to do something other than that, we'll be glad to stand up and voice our opinion on it too. We believe in the Constitution. We believe
y'all clearly don't.
Do so also, and that's where we're going to stand. And then we'll just stand there and see who's going to be the prevailer in this.
I mean,
I welcome.
The hierarchy of law is Constitution, law, policy. Okay. Any law enacted that directly infringes on the Constitution, which, you know, a public lobby such as City Hall, that, I mean, to make a policy, if I were to go in there with a hidden camera on me, how would you know any different than if I actually had it out to...
Matt, I think I told you, you're not going to change my opinion, my idea. I'd be glad I've willingly returned the call and expressed our thoughts and opinion on this. I'm not going to change what I have, so you're not going to be allowed, as long as this ordinance is in place, you're not going to be allowed to come in and video any part of this building without prior written permission and authority from there. And then you can do so only in accessible areas that are open to the public.
What are y'all so afraid of? Like, as far as transparency, like the taxpayers are the ones that fund City Hall, that funds government operations, and so the citizens should have the direct right to...
Hold on. Do you think you're going to change my opinion? Now, whatever you say, it's not going to change my opinion. I've stated what I've stated. If you don't think that's right, then you come challenge it.
I will.
Then we'll take it to wherever it needs to go. That's the way we stand.
I'm willing to take it all the way to the highest court. Like it's something that I know is not going to stand when challenged in court. That's where it needs to change.
Hey, I'll travel right there with you because I'm willing to do the same thing in opposition. So tell me when you come in. I'll be glad to be here to reinforce what I said.
Like I said, I'm not coming to cause a disturbance. I didn't cause a disturbance yesterday. I was very polite. In fact,
if you let me know when you come in, I'll be glad to be here and tell you that on camera that you're not coming in. You can get a full statement from me, sir.
Can I get a statement from you? Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
You certainly can.
All right.
You need to let me know when you're coming. I'm here every day. I just happened to be gone yesterday when you came.
Okay.
Yesterday, whenever it was. Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Perfect. It'll probably be next week. I'll let you know.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Okay, bye.